Guys, please settle down fast. It's 6:30 now. Fast, fast, fast. Hello and welcome everyone. Let's continue with our fifth lecture of animal husbandry. If you can remember, in the previous session, we were discussing about what? We were discussing about heat cycle. Before heat cycle, it was system of breeding. And I hope now you guys are clear what is upgrading, what is grading up, what is inbreeding, outbreeding, crossbreeding, outcrossing, or maybe line breeding, or it is close breeding. So I hope you guys are clear about system of breeding. After system of breeding, in this class only, we have discussed about the symptom of heat. So once the cow will come in the heat, so it will show various symptoms. And among those various systems, easily identifiable system is that cow will get attracted to the another animal, or cow will try to mount on the another animal. And if any bull is there, so cow will show the attraction toward that bull. Can you guys tell me, if I have a bull and I kept that bull only for the detection of heat period or oestrus cycle of cow, what that bull will be called? That bull is known as bull? Of course, no. Can we call it bullock? No. Can we call it steer? Obviously, no. Steer is the another name for bullock. But this bull, which is kept in the herd of cow to detect the heat, will be known as teaser. Teaser, please make sure to remember this term. Bull was uncastrated male. Bullock is also known as steer, which is castrated male. And teaser is someone who is castrated, but it will kept with the herd of cow, so that whenever any cow will come in heat, it will show the attraction, or it will show the attraction toward the bull. So that attraction towards the bull when cow is showing, so we will come to know that cow is in heat right now. So the bull which is kept to detect the heat is known as teaser. So these are the various symptoms of heat. And can you tell me which hormone is responsible in cow body which will bring the cow into heat period? Because heat period will come for on and average 24 hours, and the responsible hormone is definitely right. Responsible hormone is estrogen. Acha, fine, estrogen is right answer. Can you tell me another hormone which will support the pregnancy? Because once the cow will come in heat, once the cow is in heat, you will do the mating, and after mating, cow will be pregnant. So which hormone will support the pregnancy? It is progesterone. What is the name of that hormone? It is progesterone. It is progesterone. Progesterone hormone is secreted. Progesterone hormone is secreted by a temporary structure. That's not a permanent structure. It's a temporary structure which developed during the estrus cycle. I will tell you what is estrus cycle. Today we will start this topic, but I'm just trying to give you the basic. So there is a temporary structure which is responsible to produce progesterone hormone, and that temporary structure is Cl. Cl means it is corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is responsible to produce progesterone in cow body, but please make sure corpus luteum is just a temporary gland. Generally it will come in the cow body for 14 to 20 days only. 14 to 20 days only. And if the cow is pregnant, now it can stay there for 150 days or 200 days. And after 200 days, you will say, sir, pregnancy period of cow is 282 days. As you said, progesterone will remain available to support the pregnancy. So if progesterone will go down, as I said, life of corpus luteum is around 150 to 200 days. After 200 days, because remaining 80 or 82 days are there, who will maintain the progesterone level? So placenta will maintain the progesterone level. Now, do you guys know what is placenta? No. If you have seen the calving, so when the cow used to produce the calf, so and one more another structure used to come out. Have you seen that structure? The structure which used to come out along with the calf, it is known as placenta. Placenta is responsible to give the nutrition when the calf is inside the cow's body or inside the uterus. At that time, placenta will give the nutrition. Okay, so two hormones are responsible. One hormone is estrogen, which will bring the cow in heat period. And after heat, if cow will get pregnant, so now the maintenance of pregnancy will be done by the progesterone hormone. Fine. Okay. So let's continue with our next topic, that is estrus, or call it Oestrus cycle. But as I said, O will remain silent here, so it is termed as estrus cycle. Okay, what is the meaning of estrous cycle? As the name says, this is a cycle. Cycle means something which will remain in the continuous manner, continuously. So this cycle will be repeated every after 21 days. Let's check it. So here if you will count 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 4, 7, and 7 plus 14, 21, right? So 21 days will be taken by one cycle, and once this 21 days or once this cycle will over, again it will start from the stage 1. So estrous cycle, duration of estrous cycle is 21 days. In case of estrous cycle, if we talk about the stages of estrous cycle, so stages, there are 4 stages, 4 different stages of estrous cycle are there. And if you talk about phases, another word is phase. So if we talk about phases, so there are 2 different phases of estrous cycle. Stages are 4. Phases are 2. Do you know the difference between phase and stage? Like in case of stage, in our life, we have so many stages. We qualified or we pass 8th class, then 10th class, 12th class, BSc AG. But till now, our phase is unemployment phase. But once you will achieve your goal, once you will get a job, so after unemployment, your phase will be changed to employed person, right? So from unemployment to employment, that is 2 phases of life. But in case of stages, there are so many stages in our life. In the same way, 4 stages are there in estrous cycle and 2 phases are there in estrous cycle, right? Okay, perfectly fine. Next one. If we talk about the 4 stages, so see the name of 4 stages, starting with Proestrus. Proestrus, first stage, which will have duration of 2 days. And let me tell you one more thing. This 21 days is not fixed. Why it is not fixed? Average duration of estrous cycle is 18 to 24 days. But generally it is considered as average. And what will be the average of 18 to 24? Definitely it will be 21. So 21 days is just the average period. Sometime these 2 days can be 3 days as well. So if you will read the 2 to 3 days, so don't get worried. There can be 2 or 3 days of margin. So generally in case of Proestrus, the duration of Proestrus is 2 days. After 2 days, Proestrus will complete. Now the next stage will start, which is Estrus. Estrus will be having duration of 1 day only. Then once the estrus will over, third stage will start, which is Metestrus. Metestrus is having duration of 4 days. After 4 days, Metestrus will be over and Diestrus will start, which is having the duration of 14 days. Now, what kind of question can be asked from this data, sir? So from this data, they can ask very simple question. Which one is the longest stage in estrous cycle? So once they ask about the longest stage, so definitely you will go with 14 days. So longest stage is Diestrus. And in case of shortest stage, which one is shortest? Obviously with 1 day of duration, estrus is the shortest or smallest stage of the estrous cycle and Diestrus is the longest stage. Okay, till now we are clear. So please make sure to learn these 4 stages with the sequence. First one is Proestrus, second is Estrus, third is Metestrus, fourth one is Diestrus. Remember it with the sequence: Proestrus, Estrus, Metestrus, and Diestrus. Now, if you will see these 21 days of cycle, I will write it here. So this 21 days of cycle is known as estrous cycle, which has 4 stages. Now, in estrous cycle, there is a day because heat period is the part of estrous cycle. Heat period is the part of estrous cycle. So there will be a day when the cow will come in heat period for 24 hours. So when the cow is coming in heat for 24 hours, this is happening in these 21 days period. So can you tell me in which of the following stage your cow will come in heat? Which stage will be the heat of cow? Yes, it will be second stage. As I said, cow will come in heat for 24 hours. So which stage is having duration of 24 hours? Obviously 1 day. So cow will come in heat in which stage? It is estrus. Now, ask from yourself, sir, why cow is coming into heat? So if you can remember our yesterday's discussion where I told you In case of cow, nature has set everything with the proper synchronization, because cow is a female and cow has two ovaries and one uterus. Two ovaries and one uterus. Now, ovaries are responsible to produce ova, or you can call it ovum, or simply call it egg. Technically ova, but for better understanding, we can call it egg. So now cow body is knowing this concept that the egg is about to release. But if egg will be released and sperms are not coming, so is there any use? Will you consider it useful if egg is getting released but there are no sperm? Obviously no, है ना? Because without sperm, egg is not any of use, right? So sperm are compulsory because of fertilization, because egg will release, from second side sperm will come, and now it will fertilize. So cow body or nature know this concept. So when the ovulation is about to occur, before ovulation, cow will come in heat. Please make sure to remember this statement. Cow will come in heat not after ovulation, before ovulation. So before ovulation means initially sperm will come. Initially sperm will come in the body of cow. And once the sperm will come, now the egg will be released. Sir, if sperm will come and egg is not there, so how sperm will survive? Let me tell you. Inside the body of cow, on an average, sperm can survive for 24 to 36 hours. Even if I go to maximum time, so they can survive up to 48 hours, right? But the average, which is considered as optimum time, that is 24 to 36 hours. So once the semen will be inserted in the cow's body, in semen there are sperm. Sperm can survive for 24 to 36 hours in the cow body. Now, as you told me that cow will come in heat in estrus, so that means I will proceed with the mating in which stage? In estrus stage. After the mating, semen will go inside the cow's body, right? Fine. Now, immediately after the end of estrus, now the ovulation will start, है? Or you can say ovulation will occur. So please make sure to remember this. Incidence of heat will come in estrus stage, and incidence of ovulation will occur in Metestrus stage. Ovulation will occur in Metestrus stage and heat will occur in estrus stage. And sir, after how many hours of heat ovulation will be occur? If I will say after the end of Oestrus, so I can say after 12 to 16 hours. After 12 to 16 hours. Once the estrus is over, now after the end of estrus, 12 to 16 hours after, you will see cow will release the egg. And if you can remember my statement, what is that statement? Can you tell me which hormone will be in higher quantity in this stage? Which hormone is in higher quantity in estrus stage? Obviously, right. It is estrogen. Estrogen is also known as estradiol. Estradiol is another name of estrogen. So if estradiol is mentioned in the examination, don't worry, estradiol or estrogen are same. So estrogen is higher in this stage. Estrogen is in the peak quantity in this stage. But once the cow will mate, now after 24 hours, quantity of estrogen will decrease, and at the same time in blood level, progesterone will increase. Why progesterone will increase, sir? Because estrogen is going down, progesterone is coming. Why? Because progesterone want to support the pregnancy. Semen or sperm are already there. Now egg is coming. So after fertilization, all the responsibility will be taken by the progesterone. So for whole time of pregnancy, estrogen level will remain higher. And when progesterone level will remain higher. When progesterone is higher, estrogen cannot work. When progesterone is higher, estrogen cannot work. And once the progesterone will start decreasing its quantity, now again estrogen will start working. What is the meaning of this? Meaning of this statement is, as I said, progesterone is responsible to maintain the pregnancy. Pregnancy period is for 282 days, but this cycle is for 21 days. So once the cow will come in heat and you will proceed with the mating, now your cow is pregnant. pregnant for next 282 days. So will the cow come in heat in these 282 days? Of course, no. Because cycle says cow should come in heat after 21 days. But now the cow is in the pregnancy period for 282 days. Now within these 282 days, cow will not come in heat. Sir, why? Reason is in these 282 days, progesterone is maintaining the higher quantity. When progesterone is higher, estrogen cannot work, right? When progesterone is higher, estrogen cannot work. So for those 282 days, progesterone will remain there. And once calving will be done, now progesterone level will be decreased and again estrogen will come. So within 282 days, cow will not come in heat. But after 282 days, after calving, again progesterone will start working, and after calving you will see within 20-21 days cow will again start showing you the symptom of heat, and again same cycle will be repeated. Now if cow is coming in heat after the calving, everybody know that after calving, immediately after calving, if the cow will come in heat, we should not proceed with the mating. Why? Because we will give the rest period of 60 to 90 days to cow. Why rest period? Because that is known as service period. Service period of 60 to 90 days is required. So now in these 60 period, again cow will come in heat. Again and again cow will come in heat because cow is not pregnant. So after 21 days, again heat. Next heat, next heat. Now mating has been done. So no heat for next 282 days. I hope you guys are clear. Okay. So if you are clear, now let's start with the Estrus cycle. And before I start this concept, please learn with the sequence. There are 4 stages. First one is, okay. First one is, please speak it guys. First one is Proestrus. For how many days? 2 days. Second one is Estrus. For how many days? 1 day. Third one is third one is Metestrus. For how many days? 4 days. And last one is Diestrus. Diestrus is for 14 days. Right, guys? Okay. Let's continue. Now we will start discussing about this concept. Right. So estrogen cycle has Estrus cycle has 4 stages. And before I continue, please learn 2 stages of this cycle. 2 phases. 2 phases of this cycle is luteal phase and follicular phase. Stages are 4: Proestrus, Estrus, Metestrus, and Diestrus. Proestrus for 2 days, Estrus for 1 day, Metestrus for 4 days, and Diestrus for 14 days. These are 4 stages, total having duration of 21 days. But these 4 stages are also divided in 2 phases. First phase is the long phase, which is known as luteal phase. Duration of luteal phase is 17 to 18 days. Duration of luteal phase is 17 to 18 days. This will remain continued for 17 to 18 days. And remaining 3 to 4 days. In case of second phase, remaining 3 to 4 days, it will be follicular phase. So duration of follicular phase is 3 to 4 days, and duration of luteal phase is 17 to 18 days. So which one is the longest phase? It is luteal. And which one is the longest stage? It is Diestrus. Which one is the smallest phase? It is follicular phase. Which one is the smallest stage? It is, yes, Estrus stage. Okay. Now, follicular phase will be controlled by hormone which is known as estrogen. Follicular phase will be controlled by estrogen, and luteal phase will be controlled by progesterone. Follicular, estrogen hormone will be there, and in case of luteal, progesterone will be there. As I said, almost 18 days. 18 days is the duration of luteal phase. So that means these 2 stages are in luteal phase. So these 2 stages will be controlled by progesterone, and these 2 stages comes under follicular phase will be controlled by estrogen. And already you guys told me that the reason of heat of cow is estrogen. So here estrogen will start increasing, and in the end of this stage, estrogen will be at the highest quantity. And when the estrogen is highest quantity, cow will come in heat, and estrogen will remain at the highest quantity for 24 hours. So cow will show the symptom of heat for 24 hours, and after 24 hours, now the quantity of estrogen is decreasing. Progesterone will come, and progesterone will continue with the ovulation, implantation of embryo, and maintenance of pregnancy. Okay, 4 stages and 2 phases are clear. Now, let's continue with the general introduction part. So, in case of estrus cycle of cow, it is generally about 21 days long. But as I told you, it can vary from 18 or 17 to 24 days. Variation is there. 17 to 24 days means some cow will come in heat after 19 days, sometime 20 days, sometime 22 days. But the average will consider as 21 days. Fine. Second, each cycle consists of a long luteal phase because there are 2 phases, luteal phase and follicular phase. So luteal phase is long phase having duration of 17 days, where the cycle is under the influence of progesterone. You can remember this statement. Luteal phase will be controlled by progesterone and follicular phase will be controlled by estrogen. So each cycle consists of a long phase, which is luteal phase, 17 days, where progesterone will work, and a shorter follicular phase, 3 days, where the cycle is in under the influence of the estrogen. So that means folliculars are responsible to produce estrogen and corpus luteum is responsible to produce progesterone. Are you guys getting my point, right? Estrogen, because initial stage is follicular phase. Initial stage is follicular phase. These 2 stages are covering under follicular phase. So follicular phase will produce, follicular phase means when the follicles will develop. Now, sir, what is the meaning of follicles? Okay. As I said, ovulation will occur. In ovulation, egg will be released. But what are those gland? What are those structure which are making egg, right? So egg making or the process of making formation of egg will be done by the follicles. There are primary follicles. After the development of primary follicle, they will be converted into secondary follicles. And once the secondary follicles will mature, they will be considered tertiary follicles. And after tertiary follicles will release the egg. So follicles are again structure which are located in ovary and they are responsible for the formation and release of egg. So follicles will form there in these 2 stages. This is why follicles are getting formed in these two stages, and this phase, these 2 stages are covered in one phase, and that phase is known as follicular phase. So folliculars are responsible to produce estrogen. In this stage, folliculars are increasing their size. Folliculars are increasing their size. This is why estrogen level will be increased. Once the follicular will get developed, now they are ready to release the egg and they will release the more or highest quantity of estrogen and cow will come in heat. Egg will be released by the follicles. Once the follicles will release the egg, now the function of follicles is over. Now follicles went away and the new temporary structure will be formed, which is known as CL, corpus luteum. So when the corpus luteum is what should I say? When the corpus luteum is developing, at that time, because of corpus luteum, that phase will be known as luteal phase. When the corpus luteum is getting formed, that will be known as luteal phase. And before luteal phase, it was follicular phase. Follicular phase because follicles are getting developed. Luteal phase because corpus luteum is getting developed. Corpus luteum will produce progesterone hormone and follicles will produce estrogen hormone. Coming back to the point. Okay, so now we are clear till this point. 4 stages and 2 phases, and those first 2 stages will be controlled by the estrogen hormone. Those 2 stages will come under follicular phase, and last 2 stages will come under luteal phase, which will be controlled by the progesterone. Till now, you guys are clear. I just need a confirmation from your side if you guys are getting my point. And guys, this is a humble request. Your thumbs up or thumbs down will give me an idea you guys are getting it or not. So I want a thumbs up or thumbs down. But I'm not getting from everyone. Okay. Fine. Thank you so much. Someone is asking corpus luteum lifespan. As I told you, there will be 2 conditions because when the cow is coming in heat, now that's your decision. You will do the mating or not. So if you will perform the mating, now the life of corpus luteum will be around 200 days. Make sure these are not fixed. It's not like class of Agri Coaching Chandigarh will start at 6:30 or end at 7:50. No, it's not like that. It will vary. Average, if cow will get pregnant, average life cycle of corpus luteum is 200 days. But if cow will not get pregnant, like when it come in the second stage of estrus, cow is in heat, but you don't want to proceed with the mating. So at that time, corpus luteum will be formed, but cow is not pregnant. So it will finish immediately. At that time, duration or life cycle of corpus luteum will be 14 to 20 days. But if the cow will get pregnant, then it will be around 200 days, right? Okay. Coming toward the next point. Now, before I start this concept, now I will try to relate this concept with the human. For your examination, humans are not important. Why I'm teaching you this concept? Just to relate with this one. So this one is not important. This one is very important. But for this understanding, we will try to relate with the menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle, or you can call it periods. Technically, it is menstrual cycle, but it is known as periods. Our mother was also in periods. Our mother has experienced this. Our sister used to experience this. So don't take it otherwise. And please make sure, because this part is somewhat related to human and animal. So here I will have to use these kind of words like periods, mating, sex. So please consider it as a normal word, because you guys know when you were born, so there was also this process involved that was done by your mother and father. So don't take it otherwise. For your better understanding, I'll have to use words like this. And for me, you guys are my brother and sister. So I just wanted to make sure that I am delivering my 100% to you. So don't take it otherwise, especially those who are sitting in the classroom, because that's a large classroom. So when I will be talking about semen collection, artificial vagina, bull will cover the cow, and even I will be showing the video that how we used to collect the semen from the bull. So don't take it otherwise. For your examination, I'll have to teach all these things. Menstrual cycle, which is also known as periods. You guys have seen those ads of sanitary pads on the TV, stay free and all, hai? And I'm not sure if that ad is coming in the cinema in your movies. Whenever we are going to the cinema, so in between the interval, that ad will come by Akshay Kumar. Akshay Kumar is going on cycle, and that guy who's standing outside the hospital, and he is saying that his wife is suffering because of disease, and now that Akshay Kumar is trying to make him understand, because that guy was smoking. So he's trying to teach him that in case if you will quit the smoking, with the same money you can buy the sanitary pads for your wife, and you can stop those diseases which are related to sex or something like that. So periods is normal. In case of female, periods will come within 28 days. On an average, periods will be repeated in every mature female within 28 days. Your sister, your mother, my sister, my mother, everyone is experiencing periods happening again and again on an average within 28 days. Sometime it is 27, 30, 29, because that is, again, as I'm telling you, everything is controlled by the hormones. So if a girl is not mentally stable, or if a girl is having very pressure, like you guys are studying for the IPS AFO, and those who is having his second or third attempt, they are very serious about their selection. They're very worried about their selection. So because of tension, because of pressure in your brain, the hormonal imbalance will occur, and you will see that menstrual cycle or periods are not getting repeated on the same time. But in case of animal, as I told you, it will happen at 21 days of difference or 21 days of cycle. In case of human, it is 28 days of cycle. So that is menstrual cycle. This one is known as estrous cycle. Menstrual cycle will occur in human. Along with the human, you will experience this same in monkeys and apes. This will occur in all the animals, cow, goat, buffalo, sheep, and all other animal. Everyone will be having this cycle, and this cycle will be termed as estrous cycle in animal. Now, there are different phases in the menstrual cycle in human. We don't need to study these phases, but in case of this, there will be two phases, estrus and anestrus. Now you will say, sir, just now you told us there are two phases. One is follicular and second one is luteal phase. And now you are saying estrus and anestrus. See, what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this, when the cow is in heat period, when the cow is showing you symptom of heat, that will be known as sexual intensive period, estrus period. And when the cow is not in heat, that will be known as anestrus period. So these are not actually phases. These are just the example. Like when the cow is in heat, that is estrus. And when it is not showing the sexual intensive phase or symptom of heat, that will be known as anestrus. When the periods will come in human, when the human or when the female will experience menstrual cycle, sex urge will not increase in the human. But in case of female of the animal, definitely sex urge will be increased. As we have studied, the symptom of the animal, once they will come in heat, they will show so many symptoms. But you will not see the same symptom in your mother or in your sister. The reason is, in the human, when they are in menstrual cycle, sex urge will not be increased, but here the sex urge will be increased. This is why we'll see cow will bellow frequently, cow will urinate frequently, cow will get attracted to the male, cow will reduce the intake of feed, cow will reduce the production of milk. Why cow is showing all these symptoms? Because the sex urge in the cow has been increased. Next one. Female will not permit sex at the time of periods. Female will not permit the sex. But here, at the time of estrous cycle, at time of heat period, female will permit sex. Female even will move towards the bull for the sex or for mating. Here, in case of female, blood loss will occur. Yes, this is why females are using those sanitary pads or those pads. Why? Because blood loss is getting occurred. So to absorb that blood, female are using sanitary pads. But here blood loss will not occur. Have you seen any cow which is coming into heat and after heat it is releasing blood? Of course no. Reason is, in case of animal, they have a special cell in their uterus. So once the ovulation will occur, if egg is not fertilized, so egg will be destroyed. But that destroyed or damaged egg will be again absorbed by those uterus cells. So that means blood loss will not occur. But in case of human, blood loss will occur. Now we will start with the concept of estrous cycle, but this was just the introduction of this concept, and I hope now the introduction is clear. Estrous cycle is not clear, but the introduction is clear that what is estrous cycle exactly. And if it is clear, so now 4 stages are clear, 2 phases are clear, 2 hormones are clear. One is estrogen, second one is progesterone. But have you ever thought in last 30 minutes, when I was saying estrogen will come, progesterone will come, who is triggering these hormones? Who is allowing or who is giving indication for these hormones to be produced? Like if it is 6:30, so I have a watch. So I know that it's the time for English medium batch for animal husbandry class. But how the estrogen is knowing or how the progesterone is knowing? Okay, for progesterone, that is fine. Progesterone will get produced once the CL will come, and CL will come once the cow will over the heat period or ovulation will start. So CL is okay. But why follicles are coming? Why follicles are producing estrogen? Because there is someone else who is controlling this process. Who is controlling this process? It is a hypothalamus. It is hypothalamus. Do you know what is hypothalamus? Okay, let's check if you guys know yes or no. So I'm just asking you, say yes or no. Do you guys have hypothalamus? Guys, yes or no? Give me a, okay, you guys are having hypothalamus, fine. Can you indicate your body part where you have hypothalamus in your body? Try to touch that body part. Don't touch your knees, yaar. Ah. Fine, okay. Okay, and do you have pituitary, guys? Yes or no? Pituitary. If yes, then try to touch that body part where you have pituitary. They are like, who is this, sir? We don't have pituitary in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, fine. So like human, animal also have these 2 glands. One is known as hypothalamus and one is known as pituitary. And both are the part of our brain. And our brain is controlling all activities. And when our brain is controlling these activities, so that means there are 2 glands, as I said. One is hypothalamus and one is hypothalamus. Second one is pituitary. So hypothalamus will produce a hormone which is known as GnRH. GnRH is gonadotropin releasing hormone. Don't write the name of this. I'll show you everything. Hypothalamus will start this process. So before I start this process, let's talk about what is a cycle, right? So like if I talk about the class, how our class cycle works, initially notification will come. Like I told you that your class will start at 5 or 6:30. So you have a notification. Now those who are attending this class in online mode, they will open the application. After opening the application, your class will be live. Now I will start teaching and you guys will start learning. In the At 7:50, I will say, okay, guys, today is over. Class will be end. And again, tomorrow, I will start with the same process. So like this cycle is going on in the same way. This cycle will go on. Which cycle? Cycle of animal, which is known as estrus cycle. Initially, hypothalamus will produce this hormone. What is it? GnRH. In IBPS AFO 20, in IBPS AFO 2023, they ask a very simple question, and question was GnRH is produced by. Answer option was hypothalamus as well as pituitary. So make sure GnRH, the full form of GnRH is gonadotropin releasing hormone. This is produced by hypothalamus. Now, once the GnRH produced by the hypothalamus will go to anterior pituitary. After the production of GnRH, now it will go to anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary will secrete another two hormones. First, hypothalamus secreted GnRH. Now, GnRH have given the indication to anterior pituitary. Now, anterior pituitary will release two hormones. One is known as LH and second is known as FSH. LH is luteinizing hormone. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. You don't need to write the full form. Don't worry. I'll show you each and everything. Just have the idea of this. So hypothalamus will produce GnRH. GnRH will go to anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary will release two hormones. One is LH and FSH. Now, where these two hormones will go? Because as the GnRH was going to anterior pituitary, now these two hormones will go to ovaries. Now they will give the indication to ovaries, and ovaries will start producing follicles. Follicles will be formed and follicles will release the hormone estrogen. Estrogen will bring the animal into heat, and once the animal will come into the heat, ovulation will occur. That ovulation will be done by the follicles only, and after the ovulation, follicle cell will go away. Now the corpus luteum will come. Corpus luteum will release progesterone hormone, which will maintain pregnancy, and during this pregnancy, during this gestation period, estrogen will not come again, heat will not come again, and after 282 days, cow will done the calving, and after calving, again, same process will be continued. Now you can ask me a question. Sir, here you said cow will come in heat and then we'll proceed with the mating. But what if we do not proceed with the mating? Then it's very clear. Initially, GnRH will release, hypothalamus will release GnRH. It will go to anterior pituitary, which will produce LH and FSH. They will go to ovary. Ovary will produce estrogen. After estrogen, cow will come in heat. But now you are not proceeding it with the mating. But cow's body is not knowing about this, that you need a service period. Cow is ready. Cow's body is ready in advance. Means CL is ready. CL is ready to be formed. So even if you are not proceeding with the mating, say mating was not done here, still CL will formed. Mating was not done. Still CL will formed. Still CL will release small amount of progesterone, but CL will come to know, yeah, there is no mating, no sperm, no egg is fertilized. Now CL will say bye-bye. But for this bye-bye, CL will take almost 10, 12, 14 or 14 to 20 days on an average, and CL is about to say bye-bye. If you can remember, this was estrogen heat. Heat was coming in first two stages. First one was Proestrus, second was Estrus. First will take 2 days, second will take 3 days. Now 18 days are still there. So as I said, now this corpus luteum will come and corpus luteum will go away, which will be taking 14 to 20 days. So we have still 18 days because 3 days are gone, but still we have 18 days. That is the 18 days will be taken by the CL, and CL will come. CL will start developing, but when the CL will come to know that egg is not fertilized, now CL will say bye-bye. So no gestation will occur, no calving will occur, but again the message will go to GnRH, and again GnRH will release the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus will release again GnRH, and so on. Process will be go on. So this process will be repeated after 282 days if the cow is pregnant. If cow is not pregnant, then it will be repeated after 21 days. Are we guys clear till now? Everybody say yes or no. Guys, clear? Okay, thank you. Coming back to the point. So as I discussed earlier, GnRH, which is secreted by hypothalamus, causes cell in the anterior pituitary to release FSH and LH. GnRH is gonadotropin releasing hormone. LH is luteinizing hormone. FSH is follicular stimulating hormone. So GnRH by hypothalamus and FSH and LH is produced by the anterior pituitary. Okay. Now anterior pituitary has produced two hormones. One is FSH and second one is LH. Now talk about the LH first. LH, which is luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone trigger the release of mature egg from the dominant follicle. Can you remember this name? Yes, I was telling you these cells, these temporary cells are responsible for the ovulation, but initially these cells will form the egg and after that it will release the egg. So LH is triggering these cells to release the mature egg, and release of egg is known as ovulation. So LH is proceeding with the ovulation. Second, after ovulation, LH stimulate the development of the corpus luteum from the ruptured follicles, right? After ovulation, because initially LH is asking follicles to release the egg. Once the egg is released, once the ovulation has been done, now LH is stimulating the development of corpus luteum. So now you can understand with this that LH is responsible for the release of egg, and LH is also responsible for the formation of corpus luteum. Follicles will release the egg. Follicles are temporary structure in the ovaries. Even CL is also a temporary structure in the ovaries. CL is only CL. There is no part of CL. But in case of follicle, they are primary follicles, secondary follicle, and tertiary follicles. Primary follicles are in small stage. Once the primary follicles will get matured, those primary follicles will be considered as secondary follicles. And once the secondary follicles will get matured, they will be considered tertiary follicles, and tertiary follicles will release the egg. They release the egg means they will proceed with the ovulation. So work of LH is done. Now, FSH, another hormone which was produced by the pituitary, because at the time when the LH is doing its work, so what FSH is doing? FSH stimulate the maturation of the follicles. See, FSH is stimulating the maturation because LH was asking them to release the egg. But at the same time, FSH is stimulating the maturation of follicles. As I told you, primary, secondary, and tertiary, because before the maturation of follicles, egg will not release. LH won't ovulation, and FSH is complementing these efforts by stimulating the maturation of follicles, as well as FSH stimulate the production of estrogen by the Graafian follicles. Graafian follicles. I was calling them follicles, and I told you follicles are responsible to release estrogen, and CL is responsible to release progesterone. Phase of CL will be known as luteal phase, and phase of Graafian follicles or follicles will be known as follicular phase. Follicular phase is having 3 days of duration. Luteal phase is having 18 days of duration. So 4 hormones have been discussed: GnRH, FSH, and LH3. Fourth, estrogen, which will bring the cow in heat. And fifth hormone is progesterone, produced by CL. Prepare the uterus for implantation of fertilized egg, because the work of the progesterone is to maintain the pregnancy. So now the progesterone is preparing the uterus that, okay, it's your turn now. Get ready. We are about to implant the fertilized egg. So CL is making the uterus ready by using progesterone. You are clear about 5 hormones. You are clear about the 5 function of hormone. Even you are clear about the gland which are producing 5 hormone. I will repeat those names. GnRH will be produced by hypothalamus. FSH and LH will be produced by the anterior pituitary. Then estrogen will be produced by the Graafian follicle. And progesterone will be produced by the CL, corpus luteum. Okay, done. Moving forward. Now let's start with the Estrus cycle. Why I'm smiling? Because once I will over the class, someone will say, sir, please repeat that concept of Estrus cycle. Now try to understand. I started this concept at 6:30 and it is 7:16 right now. So just starting introduction of this concept took almost 45 minutes. And try to understand. If you will ask me, sir, please repeat this concept because my internet is weak, so I got disconnected. So how can I repeat the concept which I used to teach you in 45 minutes and just in 1 minute? You know, I hope you guys are getting my point. So in the last, just ask your doubt. Don't say that my class was got disconnected and I now repeat the same concept for me. And I hope you guys are getting how this concept are getting told, right? Okay, coming back to the point. Introduction is over. Now just we will over this process. So we'll start with the first stage. You can remember 4 stages. One was Proestrus, second was Estrus, third was Metestrus, fourth was Diestrus. Proestrus will have 2 days of duration. Second, Estrus will have 1 day of duration. Metestrus 4 days of duration, and Diestrus will have 14 days of duration. 14 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, making it 21 days of total duration. Okay, first stage. You guys are clear little bit about the second stage. Why you are clear? Because you guys know in estrus stage, heat will occur. Heat will occur. That means estrogen will be at the peak level. So for estrus, we are clear. Then, sir, what proestrus is doing? Like when you used to come in the class, those who are sitting in classroom, when you used to come in the class, for example, you are coming at 4 p.m. But before you reach to the class at 4 p.m., you start preparing yourself. You used to take a bath, you used to take change the clothes. In the same way, before cow comes in heat in estrus period or estrus stage, so Estrus is preparing, like when we used to celebrate a festival, before we start celebrating a festival, so we used to prepare for that festival. In the same way, heat will occur in this stage, but for the heat, preparation will be done by the Proestrus. Like in South India, you people used to celebrate Dashera. Here we used to celebrate Dashera only for 2 to 3 hours. But when I was teaching English medium batch last year, I came to know that Dashera is for 14 days. Students were absent in the last 1 month of the examination for 14 days. And I was very surprised how a student can take leave for 14 days, and that's just 2 or 1 month before the examination. So this time, please take care of Dashera. I was not knowing this, that South Indian people used to celebrate Dashera for 14 days. We also have festival in North India. We used to celebrate in the morning or evening, or we used to celebrate for whole day, but we don't have any festival which we celebrate for 14 days. But people from Sridhar were celebrating Dashera for 14 days. So please take care of this at this time, because I will continue this patch for next 90 to 100 days and I will cover everything in 90 to 100 days. So your 1 day of leave can cause you a great harm or can reduce the chances of your selection. So don't take leave. Coming to the first stage, Proestrus. So Proestrus is something which is preparing the cow for the estrus. So Proestrus lasts about 2 to 3 days. 2 days or 3 days, 2 to 3 days, and is characterized by the regression of CL. Because if CL will be there, then the phase will be known as luteal phase. And luteal phase will be there in Metestrus or Diestrus. But if Proestrus or Estrus are there, that means it is governed by estrogen hormone. And if it is governed by the estrogen hormone, that means follicles are there. If follicles are there, that means CL is not there. So once the CL will be lysed or CL will be finished, then this cycle or then this process will start, or then this stage will be start. So prior to this stage, prior to starting this stage, the CL was finished, CL was lysed. So it says this stage is characterized by regression of CL. Regression means decreasing the growth of CL. So CL is going and follicles are coming. Regression of CL and final growth phase of ovulatory follicles. Graafian follicle, ovulatory follicle, or call them follicle. As progesterone level in the blood decreases. Why? Because CL is regressing. If the CL is regressing, obviously the level of the progesterone in the blood will decrease. LH and estrogen positively feedback on one another. LH and estrogen positively feedback on one another, so that rapid increase in the estrogen production by the ovulatory follicle occur, increasing blood concentration. Now, in the blood concentration, estrogen level is increasing. But guys, please make sure it is not increased till now. It is increasing. In first stage, which is known as Proestrus, estrogen is just increasing, not increased completely. It is just increasing. Okay, fine. This is increasing. Now, at the end of this stage, progesterone level will be increased. Progesterone level is at peak quantity. Once it is at peak quantity, so we cannot call that stage as proestrus, because once the estrogen has peak quantity, now the cow will come in heat, and this stage will over and another stage will start, which is known as estrus stage, or you can call it heat stage, because in this stage cow will come in heat. So in case of estrus, estrus is characterized as the time period when heifer, do you know what is heifer? Obviously yes, है ना? So heifer will exhibit the sexual desire and acceptance of the male by standing to be mounted. Now the female is ready. If the male is coming and male is trying to mount on the female, female will stand there only. And when the male is trying to mount and female is standing there only, that is known as standing heat. That process or that term or that time is known as standing heat. And as you know, standing heat will occur in 14 to 18 hours, and that is known as best time for proceeding for the mating. Okay, so here you will see that cow is showing the sexual desire, and it will stand at the same place when the male will try to mount. This period lasts for 6 to 30 hours, but average duration with 24 hours being the average length. During estrus, vaginal and cervical mucus production is greatly increased. Can you remember the heat symptom where I told you that mucus discharge we will see from the vulva, and it will wrapped around the tail. So that mucus is coming from the cervix. Sir, what is cervix? If you can remember, I told you initially outside it is vulva. Inside the vulva, it is vagina. After vagina, it is cervix. And after cervix, it is uterus. I'm not sure Google will show me a correct photo or not, but I'll try to show it for you. So see, I'm writing cervix in cow. Let's see if I can find a correct photo for you. Yes. But this is very small in size. This one, fine. So if you can see, here you will see this is vagina. This part is vagina. Before vagina, outside, that is known as vulva. So vulva, then vagina. After vagina, here you can see this is cervix. And after cervix, this is uterine body. Uterine body, and both sides you will see two ovaries. Female has one uterus and two ovaries. So one ovary, two ovary. In between, this one is uterus. Below uterus, that is cervix. And then after cervix, it is vagina. And that mucus will be produced by this area, by this part. It is known as cervix. And this is why mucus can also be called as cervical mucus. Why cervical mucus? Because it is getting produced by cervix. And that cervical mucus will come outside once the cow will come in heat, and you will see that mucus is wrapped around the tail of the animal. So during estrus, the vaginal and cervical mucus production is greatly increased, and mucus may be visible hanging from the vulva or wrapped around the tail. The corpus luteum. There is no role of corpus luteum in this stage, because we know when we are talking about estrus, so estrus means estrogen hormone. Estrogen means follicles. There is no role of Cl over here. So corpus luteum has been finished prior to this period. Therefore, progesterone level is very low. And just because progesterone level is very low, just because senior is not present, now the junior is taking control of everything. Who is junior? It is estrogen. Estrogen is controlling this process because progesterone is very low. Now coming toward the third stage, but before that, few remaining point. Luteinizing hormone, LH. LH spiked to a high level during estrus, which initiate ovulation. You can remember LH was triggering to ovulation. At the same time, FSH was promoting the development of the follicles. So LH spike at the high level during the estrus, which initiate ovulation, and estrogen levels start. Finally, now we will move to the next stage. Why? Because estrogen is about to say bye-bye. And once the estrogen will say bye-bye, now the progesterone will say hi. So progesterone will come. Once the estrogen will go, so estrogen levels start decreasing after initiation of ovulation. Ovulation is not yet started. Ovulation will happen in the next stage, but heat has been done. Ovulation is about to start. Estrogen level is decreasing. Ovulation can occur at the end of this stage, or say in next stage. Ovulation take place 24 to 36 hours after the starting onset of estrus. Try to understand this, guys. Estrus will be continue for 24 hours. When the estrus was starting after 24 to 46 hours, ovulation will occur. So in other term, I can say, because 24 hours will be taken by estrus only. So once the estrus will over, on an average after 12 hours, ovulation will occur. Can you relate this statement? Why? Because what it is saying, suppose for example, right now it is 7:30, right? At 7:30, if cow is coming in heat, estrus is starting. Now the statement is saying that ovulation will happen after 24 to 36 hours of 7:30. So after 24 hours, again it will be 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, and after 36 it will be 7:30 a.m. day after tomorrow, right? So if you will see after 24, so this heat period, which is starting at 7:30, will over at 7:30. And if ovulation is occurring at 7:30 a.m., so that means on an average, ovulation is occurring after 12 hours of the end of estrus. I hope you guys are clear about this statement, that from the starting, ovulation will take 24 to 36 hours. But if you say after the end of estrus stage, now within 12 hours or 12 to 14 hours, ovulation will occur, but ovulation will occur in the next stage. Now heat is over, work of follicle is over, and estrogen level is over. Now let's continue the another phase and third stage, because follicular phase is over. Two stages are over. Now we are starting with the third stage, Metestrus, or say second phase, which is luteal phase. Now Metestrus, average duration is 4 days, but Metestrus will last or continue for 3 to 5 days. Ovulation occur during Metestrus about 10 to 16 hours after the end of estrus. And this is what we were discussing just 1 minute before. I said 12 hours. So average 12 hours, otherwise 10 to 16 hours after the end of estrus, ovulation will occur. During this period, CL is undergoing early development. CL is not yet developed. Progesterone level are not higher right now, but progesterone is getting produced slightly, and estrogen is almost over. So estrogen is about to over and progesterone is starting. So here CL is undergo early development. Progesterone level are still low, but increasing slightly during Metestrus. Implantation of embryo can take place here if animal was mated with the male in the previous stage. In RRBSO 2023 examination, they asked this question, and question was, implantation of embryo will done which stage? It will be Metestrus. Implantation of embryo will be done in Metestrus, right? So implantation of embryo can take place here if animal was mated with the male in the previous stage, and if animal was conceived, means animal is fertilized, then it will prevent the growth of Graafian follicle. If animal was conceived, it will prevent the growth of Graafian follicle. If the growth of Graafian follicle is preventing, estrogen will not come. If estrogen will not come, that means it arrests the estrous cycle. Arrest means it will stop the estrous cycle until the pregnancy will over. So now the pregnancy is start. Why? Because animal is pregnant. Implantation of embryo has been taken place. Before implantation, in this stage only, ovulation was occurred. But before this stage, second stage, in estrous stage, semen will be inserted in the animal body. Maybe it can be done by the natural mating, or it can be done by the artificial mating as well. Artificial mating, which can be called as artificial insemination, or it can be done naturally as well. Now, coming to the fourth and longest stage of the estrus cycle, diestrus, the period of Cl has started developing in the third stage, but now Cl is fully ready. The period of Cl lasts about 14 days. 14 days if cow is not conceived. But if cow is conceived, then all the tasks will be performed by the Cl only. The Cl is producing increasing amount of progesterone during the early days of diestrus as the capacity for the steroid production increases as the Cl matures. So Cl is maturing day by day, and by maturation, Cl is producing more amount of progesterone. So progesterone level is increasing. If animal was conceived, then further development of the uterus will take place, because if the animal is conceived, now Cl will produce progesterone, and progesterone will make sure that uterus size should be increased. Why? Because now it's the time for embryo development. Now it's the time for calf development. So calf will increase its size day by day. So it will prepare the uterus to increase the shape. Guys, one more thing. Even if animal was not conceived, still Cl and progesterone will make sure that we are increasing the size of the uterus. But suddenly Cl will come to know, oh yeah, cow is not mated, cow is not pregnant, leave all this task. So if the animal was not conceived, then involution of uterus take place. And I hope you can remember what is involution. Involution was when the uterus will take its normal shape. So here Cl was trying to increase the size of uterus. Why? Because the calf is about to get developed, but Cl come to know, yeah, there is no mating, there is no fertilization of egg. So now Cl will again make sure the uterus will coming to the back shape or normal shape, and that coming back to the normal shape, it is known as involution. Fourth stage is over. Concept of estrus cycle is over. Your doubts are welcome now, but only those doubts which are doubts. है ना? Don't say repeat the concept, because revision will take 1 hour 3 minutes. Okay, do we have any doubt? If no, then we will proceed with the next topic. Guys, need your thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, fine. Hanji, student from online. Any doubt? Okay, one more doubt. One doubt. Siri. Someone who is Siri. Whenever I'm reading your name, so I'm remembering iPhone only, है because we have a feature of Siri. Fine. Siri is asking me, sir, initiation of ovulation will be done by. Question is, initiation of ovulation will be done by. Are you asking me gland? If gland, then it is follicles, Graafian follicles, ovulatory follicles, or call them follicles. If you're asking me hormones, you can remember LH. LH was the hormone who was triggering for the ovulation. And if you say, sir, who will be responsible for the growth promotion in case of follicles, who will promote the growth of follicles, then it is FSH. Follicle stimulating hormone will increase the size of follicles, and LH will trigger the ovulation.